Facebook, YouTube, Twitterati, TikTok, whatever other YouTube, whatever other social media platforms you use. I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to talk to you about an article that I have just written for the Voice newspaper. It will be online and it will be in the hard copy. The hard copy will be a longer article, whereas the online version will be short, sweet. I'm not sure too spicy. The spiciness is in the longer article. I'm going to talk to you about Keir. Not IKEA, not your friend Keir down the road, or any other Keir you may know, but Keir Starmer, that's right, the leader of Her Majesty's official opposition, i.e. the Labour Party. Keir has had a challenging week, hasn't he? Yesterday, he walked into a pub and got booted out. "Get out of my pub," the man says. "Get out of my pub. You failed us. You've not stood up to the government on COVID and the coronavirus. Get out of my pub." It reminded me of EastEnders. "Ricky, get out of my pub." Anyway, that's enough humour for now. But Keir's had a hard time. Since he became leader of the party, he's had a difficult time. In my article in The Voice, when the online version comes out, I'll post it here, right there, or maybe there. Yeah, I'll put a link there, so you can see it. And then please subscribe to the hard copy because you get a longer, expansive article. On the 6th of May, we have a number of elections. We could say a cacophony of elections, or kaleidoscope of elections, all happening at the same time on the 6th. We have elections in England, Scotland and Wales. We have the Welsh Assembly, or the Welsh Government. We have the Scottish Government elections. We have the election for 6,000 local councillors in England. We have 39 police commissioner elections. There's also a by-election in Hartlepool. And in fact, the Conservatives, the seat is currently held by Labour, the MP resigned, but it looks as though the Conservatives are really closing the gap and they may well take that seat. So there's a lot of, interest in Hartlepool. It's going to be a close one, I'm not going to call it, but after 13 years, it is 13 years of a Conservative-led government, for the Conservative Party to be in such a strong position going forward is unheard of. And it raises the question as to where the vacuum of Labour is. Labour has left the vacuum. So with all these elections going on, some of you wonderful citizens will have 3 ballots. Will be able to cast and exercise your democratic rights 3 times. So that's fantastic. In my article, I talk about some of the challenges with Keir, but I still think he can navigate a way to 10 Downing Street. But I think he can only do that if he finds his authentic voice. And I put a 10-point plan in the article, in the main article, in the hard copy article. It doesn't appear in the online version. A 10-point plan, and that involves, rethinking what his strategy is. As many of us who've been involved in either boxing or martial arts know, that if you're fighting someone with a title, you've got to take the battle to them. You can't win by default. You have to show determination, you have to show aggression. And so far, Keir is a nice guy, but he needs to get down and dirty and fight. I also talk about, he has 2 superpowers, and I'll just tell you about one now. The other you can read in the article. And one of those superpowers is that he is the kryptonite to the Labour Party to the Labour Party's left. I talk about, the move to push Jeremy Corbyn out of the party, and I argued in some ways it was a populist move. On some levels, it was a move which saw the leader, Keir, play the man, not the ball, and the fallout has been substantial. But there is still a route to number 10 Downing Street, and I talk about this in the article. And by the way, Keir Starmer, if you're watching this, give me a call, send me an email, send me a tweety, and let's talk. And one of the key things that needs to happen, I think, is his shadow team needs to be a little bit more visible. A report came out a few months ago by the Labour Party which says, show the flag in the background, look neat and tidy. And I think there's something in that. Labour needs to be seen as credible. I argue around Tony Blair that what Keir needs is a Blair-Brown strategy, an all-inclusive strategy, a strategy which sets the narrative into the future. Things are changing and we need his authentic voice to be a counterbalance to the narrative that we have. So essentially Labour needs to play to win, and one of the things I mentioned is that participation is not an end in itself, and I do get the feeling at times that Keir and the party are in the participation mode. Let's just take part, but they need to be in it, not only to win it, but they need to fight to win it. So please get the article, and over time, obviously I don't want to say too much about what's in the article right now, but when it comes out, I'll put a link. In fact, I'm going to put the link right there. Yeah, right there, in the corner of the door. So please get the link and let me have your thoughts. And in closing, I would say, get out of my pub. Get out of my pub, Keir. Take care.